Welcome to Make Something Happen 52. Now this is less of a make something happen and more of a guided tour. When they take you around a house you're thinking of buying and they say, oh, over there is the lounge and over here is the drawing room. I don't know why it's called a drawing room. Not much drawing always. Yeah, you can't draw in here, it's not the drawing room. And so it goes. Anyway, the story is that we wrote the first version of the application and it kind of works, but everything's in one big file. The tiny survey.mjs file does a lot of heavy lifting, and one of the things about software development, and you will discover this when you write any program that's longer than 10 lines, is that the initial design decisions that you make are not always the best ones, and the way you put code in files and the way you organize the software is something you can only discover by trying to build one. You can do all kinds of front-end design and do lots of heavy thinking about what it's supposed to do and how it's supposed to fit together. But at some point, the rubber has to hit the road, as they say. And at that point, you'll start discovering that actually your design decisions weren't the best and you want to move things around. And then as you get deeper into the development, you start to understand how it fits together and how it's structured. And at that point, it's important to keep your design of the app reflecting the way it actually fits together. Another, don't think in terms of your new decisions as being the ones you have to live by for the rest of the project. You didn't marry the first person you went out with, or maybe you did actually, in which case, well done and good luck to you and keep going forwards. But you will actually discover more about a solution as you build more of it, and when you do that, it's useful to be able to move things around and tidy them up. Now I could run this and it will run perfectly well, and it will do just the same as the previous app did, except for the fact that things are now organized differently. And if I look at the Tiny Survey app, you'll find it's tiny. There's nothing in it. There's only a few imports, and then the final thing which starts everything off. How is this made? Well, what I do is I bring in all the root files as imports, and I then bind these imported roots to the URLs that are required. And here are the four main pages of the app: got topic, set options, record selection, and display results. And these are bound to the objects I've brought in, which are up here, and you can see the files that these are actually part of. So if I go and have a look in the roots folder, which is up here, then I can see this is the one that records the selection, and all the code that does that is in there, and it's exported at the end as a single unit. And then we have the same thing for the index page, the got topic page, and anyone debugging your code will think that this is wonderful. If someone finds a fault or wants to change the get options, the set options page, for example, then the programmer just has to look as far as here to find that page. They know exactly where it is. They can find it from within here. By looking through here, you can find it where it's brought in from and where it's bound to. So you're building a structure which is really, really easy to find your way around. And this will help you in two ways. One, if you go back to the code, you'll have forgotten how it fits together, and finding it like this is much easier. And two, anybody else will think it's wonderful. Previously, to actually modify a route, we had to search through one big tiny survey file and just find the bits for that particular one. But now we've actually got, it's kind of self-indexing. I made the point when we were talking about comments in the book in the previous chapter that we haven't really needed comments, because up until the point where we are making code for other people to use and work on, we can get away with sensible choice of variable names and sensible code structure to convey how the code actually works. But as soon as you make the code available for other people to work on and become kind of professional, you have to think in terms of how easy it is to work on. And if you think about other things you've worked on, where you've opened the bonnet of the car and all the bits you pour water into are color coded so you know which is which, and everything kind of makes sense if it does. And for bonnet read, is it hood in America? I think it may be. Then you can identify things that are well designed and fun to work on, and things that are or badly designed and hard to work on. And what this whole refactoring exercise has done is it's taken a thing which was kind of hard to find your way around and made it immediately obvious where everything is. And so all my models for my database are up here. All the helpers that it uses are up here. And then we have a test folder as well that contains the tests that we've got. And so it's like a nice, well-planned place to work on. And you should kind of aspire to this. This is where you want to be when you're writing code. So if your design changes, that's fine, but change your code to reflect that. And if you find one big piece of code that does about 15 different functions in your application, for goodness sake, break that down into 15 separate little files that you can find and work on individually and much more easily, because you'll thank yourself later. Oh yes, you will. And with that, that's the end of this one. On to the next one. Thank you for listening.